Why, hello there, YouTube, and welcome to this top 10. So, I'm Random Ross, and today I am doing my top 10 horror movies of 2023. So, it's been a good year for horror, I think. We've had a lot of good ones out there. We had some bad ones, but we're here talking about the good ones. So, yeah, top 10. Let's do it. So, before we get to my top 10, I just want to throw in some honourable mentions to some that didn't quite make the 10 but deserve a mention, and they are Cobweb, Sick, Renfield, Insidious, The Red Door, and Only Just, The Exorcist Believer. Okay, let's stop chin wagging and get on with the top 10. So coming in at number 10 is Infinity Pool. Yes, Brandon Cronenberg returned with this bizarre body horror with Mia Goth and Alexander Skarsgård. I liked it. It was weird and wonderful, but what do you expect from the Cronenbergs? But yeah, I thought it was okay. A whole new messed up, twisted take on the rich and the clonings and that. So yeah, Infinity Pool. Number 9 is No One Will Save You. This is a sci-fi invasion film starring Caitlin Dever, which dropped on Disney Plus. And one of the benefits of these films is it's dialogue free. There is probably one scene where one line of dialogue is spoken. In fact, there is, and that's it. Other than that, it's silent, yet it works. I thought it worked. I mean, the ending was a bit bizarre. I didn't get it, but it was more or less an okay one-woman show with Caitlin Dever in this. So yeah, number 9, No One Will Save You. Number 8 is Cocaine Bear. Now, I didn't really consider this a horror. I thought it'd be more like a slapstick comedy, which it were. A good switch your brain off film, but this did have a lot of gore in there and a lot of brutal violence. And I can see why people did put it into the whole animal attack horror. But it was comedy as well, and I actually did enjoy watching this. I mean, yeah, it's based on true events. In real life, the bear sadly died, but they just added this whole fictionalized stuff on where the bear goes on a rampage and that. It looked funny, and they definitely kept the horror elements out of the trailer. But yeah, I'd say it's a horror movie, but only just. So, number 8 is... number 7, is Five Nights at Freddy's. So, we've all been wanting a horror... a horror movie adaptation of the horror game series Five Nights at Freddy's. And they finally did it, which I did like. I like that we finally got this made as a movie after so many abandoned scripts for it that got recycled into one becoming the Banana Splits movie and another becoming Willy's Wonderland. I like that we finally got this one. But I feel this was a very tame one. I thought I've seen worse in PG movies like Jaws and Poltergeist. I don't see why this was a 15. It was just very tame to me, and I was like, yeah, this is a bit too tame. But I'm glad they actually finally made it, and we got Matthew Lillard in there and some other people. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. So, so number 6. Number 6 is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, I don't know why this hasn't had a theatrical UK release, but I saw it anyway. And I liked how true Dracula were to the source material, how he was like a Nosferatu kind of monster and wasn't the romantic kind. I mean, we didn't see Dracula much, it was more like that less is more thing, but to me it felt like Alien at sea. We were at sea sailing to England and Dracula was terrorising the ship of the Demeter where everyone dies eventually except for the final guy, Clement, who I believe could be Van Helsing, or is Van Helsing, or at least the stand-in for Van Helsing in this. And if they make a sequel, I'd be up for that, but I believe it's not done so well. But it's one of my favourites of this year. You know, we've had 2 Dracula movies this year, one I mentioned in the honourable mentions. So, top 5 time. Number 5 is Knock at the Cabin. M. Night Shyamalan, back again, with his weird, wonderful and twisty-turny things. The twist, though, I knew was coming. I knew that these 4 people would be some sort of representation for the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which they were. And it was based on a book. But, yeah, I would say that, you know, the credit of M. Night Shyamalan drew me to this. Dave Bautista as well starring, and it being an interesting film, which it were. And I like watching it. In fact, I actually watched it twice. A second time because I was curious to see if I missed anything on first viewing. So, number 5, Knock at the Cabin. Number 4 is Megan. Yes, the evil doll genre in horror came back at the start of this year, back in January. Usually January is a dumping ground for like movies that they have no hope for. But this one was a surprising hit, and given the success of it, it has got a sequel in the works which we will see in 2025. But yeah, Megan, you know, who can forget that iconic dance she started doing and everyone's doing it. Even at Halloween this year when people dressed as Megan, they all danced to that song Walk the Night and all that whole thing she does. That's one of the highlights of the film, I would say. And the young actresses they got to do Megan, want to provide the physical movements and want to voice her, were well done, and I liked it. I also liked our 2 leading ladies as well. I don't know the young actress's name, but Alison Williams. I enjoyed watching her in this. It was, you know, an entertaining film which I actually saw twice. And, you know, just shows that, you know, Blumhouse have still got it in there for, you know, got some spark in there, and that there is still a way they can make a good horror movie with an evil doll. I believe this was PG-13 in America, but over here we got the R-rated cut where it was a 15. So yeah, Megan, standing for, what is it, metallic, model-free, Android, something. What was the end for? I don't care, but Megan, I look forward to the sequel. Will it live up to the first one? I don't know. Probably not. Might surprise us though, like this one did. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. So coming in at number 3, it is Scream 6. You think with 6 movies in, this franchise would have wore out by now. We got the requel 5th movie last year, and this year we were treated to a follow-up to that one. Yeah, we didn't get Sidney Prescott in this because Neve Campbell dropped out due to a pay dispute. We got Courtney Cox back though, and we got our core 4, our new 4 leads in this. Jenna Ortega and what's her name, playing the Carpenter sisters, Sam and Tara. And that was such a success, they announced a 7th movie, which up to now is in limbo because, you know, there's been trouble going on with our 2 leading ladies, one of them dropping out, one of them being fired. I'm not getting into the details, but I hope they resolve something and get Scream 7 back on track. It may be delayed now, but like I say, I hope we do see a good conclusion to maybe a trilogy. I don't know, but Scream 7, I'm not holding my breath for it, but if it happens, that's great. But still, I had a ball with Scream 6. I do think the killers, the reveal on that were predictable. 3 ghost faces. And then they did a whole, you know, shock kill where Samara Weaving was killed in the opening act. I'm sure this film's been out long enough, so I'm not giving any spoilers. She was killed in the opening act and was like, oh, right, so she was like being, you know, Hitchcocked by the beginning. Again with the kid from Spider-Man, who played Flash Thompson as well, who I believe played parts in the marketing. Anyway, what are my bottom 2? Well, top 2, sorry. At number 2, it is Saw X. Now again, another film that is 10 movies into a franchise now, taking place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. You know, this one follows John Kramer. You know, I mean, so Spiral was interesting. I like that they tried something different there, but Saw X was a return to form. It was a sequel to the first Saw movie, a prequel to all the others that would follow from the first movie. And yeah, I actually loved this one. It's definitely the best, sequel, prequel, sprequel, prequel and sequel, sprequel. I just like this one because we got to see Jigsaw be the good guy for once. He was like the protagonist, how he got this con artist team that conned him into thinking they removed his brain tumour, and then him just, going back into his old Jigsaw ways and making this group pay. One of them actually made it out of her trap and earned her freedom, but then she got killed in cold blood by another one of the con team. But, like I say, Tobin Bell returning as Jigsaw, just brilliant. I loved that Jigsaw was in a more of a protagonist role, which I didn't mind, because you usually think he's the villain, but in ways, Jigsaw is kind of right with people and life and what have you, but the way he does it. But in this one, I felt like this did a good fan service to us all. And yeah, they didn't de-age Tobin Bell or Shawnee Smith, who returned as Amanda. But at the end of the day, I didn't care about that. I just was glued to watching it, and I loved the twists and turns they made. And, and when they advertised it with that, the guy with the eyes on it, that was only like a Jigsaw thinking, fantasizing of a guy who he thought of doing that to, but never actually is constructed in the movie. But yeah, Saw X, brilliant. So, my number one is, it's Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, Evil Dead Rise has been my favourite horror movie of this year. You thought Evil Dead franchise, it won't work without Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell was actually involved very briefly in a vocal role, in a cameo, in one of the tape scenes. I love the Easter eggs we got in this one to the old movies, even that quote, "Dead by dawn, dead by dawn." I also like that they took it out of the whole cabin in the woods setting and set it in an apartment block building, which I thought, okay, change of place, alright, yeah, sure. And, how gory, gruesome and twisted this were, but I actually enjoyed watching it, and the whole possession thing, the whole horror in it, how it just seemed like a breath of fresh air. And it's its own standalone movie. Yeah, it was 10 years since we got that Evil Dead remake, or as I like to think of as a requel, like a fourth movie within the Evil Dead universe. I like to think that this is like the 2013 one, its own standalone Evil Dead story in the Evil Dead universe. And our performances from all our leading ladies in it, brilliant. The gore, the horror, the guts, the splatter. I like I say, I had a hell of a time watching it. So yes. So yeah, that's it. So my top 10 best horror movies of 2023. What will 2024 give us? Well, we're already getting a sneak peek and a look at what we got to look forward to. Like, ones I'm looking forward to are Night Swim, Trap from M. Night. And then there's that Walkers directed by his daughter, making her debut as directing. And I believe Terrifier 3. Yeah, we got. I think 2024 is going to be a good one too. So, what are your top 10 best horror movies of this year? Do you agree with my list? Do you have your own? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and to hit that notification bell. I have been Random Ross and this has been my top 10 best horror movies of 2023. So, here's to 2024 being good. Have a good rest of your holidays and Christmassy and stuff. And yeah, so until next time, don't have nightmares.